Comrades, welcome back to Transport Fever. I am Admiral Andre, and as you can hear, my voice is sounding a little off because it's springtime here in the Cape, and that means allergy season, and I'm a big allergy sufferer. So I do apologize for that. There's not too much I can do about it beyond what I'm already doing, and that's taking some medication and so on. But that cannot stop us from continuing our European campaign. So let us go on to the next mission, and as usual our advisor will give us his speech and just clue us in as to what we have to do in the mission. So let's go. Obviously I have to say campaign here, and Europe.
The old continent. The new century is still young, but things don't look good. Tensions in Europe are rising. Hopefully, everything will turn out well. Fortunately, transportation services are always in demand, in good times and in bad. You just can't have any scruples about who you get involved with. In any case, it's certainly worthwhile to be well prepared for any eventuality.
True indeed. So we now know we are busy with the 20th century at last. Of course, we have done that with the American campaign before, so we are quite well equipped to deal with our challenges here. However, we can see by what they're saying here with the tensions in Europe that this will be dealing with the World War. This will be the Great War, the First World War. And this thing about not having any scruples about who you get involved with means that we are going to be dealing with Germany, so the Axis powers. Although then they were the Central powers, I think, yes. In any case, the medals here you can see I didn't fare very well with them in my previous effort, so I'm not hopeful that I'm going to be able to do much better this time. However, I'll give it a go, of course, but don't expect all 5. In any case, let's have a look at them. The first is well supplied. Achieve a supply of foodstuffs of 10% in the affected cities in less than 6 years, which is very short in terms of our deadline there. Shamelessly rich, amass a wealth of at least 50 million despite these hard times, so you can imagine why that's a bit difficult. Squirrel, stockpile at least 500 foodstuffs before the war begins. Also failed there. And fairly distributed. Make sure that no city has a supply of food over 30% while another goes empty-handed, which means essentially that we will have to set up our network to service all cities right from the beginning. We can't focus on one and then slowly expand from there. Then hard times. Never let the food supply fall below 5% during the war. So you can see this is all about food, and one of them of course is about money. But so it's hard times here now in Sweden. So we'll see that now. I'm going to have to deal with the pronunciation of the cities, but I'll give it my best go. But let's get into it. Of course, we'll get more detail once we're in the map.
The year is 1914 in beautiful Scandinavia. Fortunately, we are separated from Central Europe by the North and Baltic Seas, because things are getting noticeably uncomfortable there. Tensions are increasing. We are in the comfortable situation of sitting on top of gigantic deposits of raw materials, which someone will probably need very soon. On the other hand, we are dependent on foodstuff imports if we want to eat something other than crisp bread and rotten fish. Secure our country's basic supply for whatever may come.
Well, our advisor here has a sixth sense, I guess. He knows what's coming over the horizon. Storm clouds are brewing over Europe, and we have to prepare. Now, we are in Sweden. They don't say that. They just say Scandinavia, but this is indeed Sweden. So we've already looked at the medals here. This one I'm a bit worried about right now that I was thinking about this. It's 1914 and we know this is the year that the Great War begins, and they want us to stockpile 500 foodstuffs before the war begins. Now, I'm not sure if the time scale is the same as in real life. In fact, I'm very doubtful of that, because of course once you get going in this game, time flies, and we have in less than 6 years we have to give the foodstuffs to the cities, and in 6 years the war will be over already. So I don't think it's really matched in real life, but of course the game has to have some creative license there. So let's just look at the specific first step that we have to take.
Germany needs huge amounts of steel. We don't know exactly what they need it for, but we are in a position to deliver that steel. In return, we can import foodstuffs. For example, good beer, which is in extremely short supply here.
Ah, come now, advisor, you know exactly why they need that steel. You're the one who said whatever may come. In any case, yes, he also likes his beer, which I cannot blame him for. So we have to supply 3 of our cities. We only have 3 cities on this map, which is still a relatively easy mission, I think, at least when you want to meet the basic criteria for passing the mission, since it's only the 3rd one in the campaign. So we have the 3, and then of course we have to supply them with at least 10% foodstuffs, which is of course we see that normally by just clicking on the city, and it will tell us how much of the demand is being met. So they say that there, and then deliver steel for export, and then in return the harbor will provide us foodstuffs. We had something similar when we played in the Texas map in America, where we had to export the oil and the fuel, and then in return we got goods from the port. So it's very similar to that. And then of course we need coal and iron for the production of steel, which we saw in the 2nd US mission with Nikola Tesla and so on. And then of course we just have to get that to the steel mill. So they say of course metal can be earned here, and that will be the one that is related to achieving this 10% supply within 6 years. So it is paused, so we can take our time a little bit here. And if we look at the real map, I went to look before starting this recording at the real map of Sweden, and this is more or less the real orientation. So this would be the south and that would be the north. But now we get into this pronunciation of names, which is of course the crux of the matter. And I looked this up, but you must still forgive me if I get them wrong. Obviously I do not speak Swedish, and the names all have accents on the letters, so it's quite a challenge. But I think this is how you say this. This is Malmö, not Malmö as you would think. And then this one is interesting because this is a spelling mistake. I looked up this name but I couldn't find it. Instead it's Jon. So this is obviously wrong. And that's the most interesting pronunciation of all. Jönköping, something like that. So again, forgive it if it's not right. And this one would be, let me see, where's my little cheat guide here? Göteborg, something like that. It's not Göteborg like you would think by the letters there. Göteborg. So in any case, we have the 3 cities here, and the port is right here. So actually we don't see a normal harbor. It's just a building here, but it serves as a harbor. And we send the steel here and we get 2 food in return. So it's quite a good deal for us. Germany is feeling very desperate for that steel. Then for the steel mill, we find that right here in the middle of the map, the Jönköping steel mill. Then we have the coal down here near Malmö. And where's the iron? It's between the cities there. Then, yes, what else do we have? We have construction materials, and we have a construction materials plant as well. So that's another good source of income for us. I think we will need this for the mission as well. I can't really remember so well. It's been a long time since I tried it on my own. But it's of course a nice way for us to also make more money. So the next thing I think is we're going to rely mostly on rail. Of course we have to do our planning before we get into it, so it's obviously going to be a bit of a slow start here, as it usually is with any mission. But then of course we cannot ignore the fact that making passenger routes will also benefit us financially, so we have to do that. But I'm not going to use a bus here. It would be very easy to do that, but since we have to deliver food to all 3 cities and more or less at the same time, we have to get a network that will go to all of these places and that will pass by the steel mill. And of course we can have these sideline routes that go to the coal and iron facilities, although the iron one is nice and central between these 2 cities. So let's get started somewhere. We have to get going. Let's see. I think we have to start with the end in mind. That's always what I like to do. And the end in this case is, of course, the destination for the steel, and that would be the harbor here. So let's get our normal grid lines up. And I think we can have a separate cargo harbor for this one, or cargo station. We'll have a separate passenger one for Malmö, and then that will be connected to the cities. Also in this case, I think we can then deliver food to Malmö via truck, because I mean this is such a short route. Getting a train to come back into the center of town is quite wasteful, I think. And of course we can keep in mind that the cargo that we are delivering, the food, needs to go to the commercial sector. Let me just check this thing out here. What is this question mark? I can't remember.
According to rumor, a German U-boat sank a Swedish schooner with a valuable cargo. 5,000 bottles of champagne, 67 barrels of cognac, and 17 barrels of wine were stored on board. The one who finds this treasure will be a real lucky duck. The lady from the harbor should know more.
It's funny because the war hasn't started and a U-boat has already sunk something. Anyway, this advisor of ours is really obsessed with his alcohol, so there he's gonna be drunk for ages. In any case, question the lady at the harbor. This is like a little side quest, you know, it makes it more interesting. So let's follow this up quickly. There's the harbor.
The lady from the harbor said she could help us. Recently, a message in a bottle washed up on the pier. She gave us the note, written in a scrawling hand. It says, "We're sinking. Ship in distress. Don't let the good stuff go bad. Look on the coast in the east."
Yes, they were obviously high on their own supply. So follow the clue, so the coast in the east. This is so easy to finish this mission, but it's a little fun side quest. There, we found it. Or did we? No.
To locate the spot and salvage this valuable barge.
Okay, so we have to send out a boat to locate the spot. So that we can do once we get things underway. And I think just for the sake of it, we might as well build an actual harbor right here by the supposed harbor. And, well, it doesn't matter, no, we can just build a shipyard or a depot, since we only need a boat. But it just adds a bit to the immersion, since this is supposed to be a harbor after all. Something like that. Then we need a ship, and this is not the best thing to be spending money on right now. So I think let's leave it for right now and just get some of the rail infrastructure in place. And I think we might actually start with this whole Malmö business. So let's see, of course we need a cargo station for the harbour, and that will be a terminal station. I'm not sure if we'll need 2 platforms for this one, since we're delivering and picking up, so you know the train shouldn't be lingering here. I think 1 will be enough. 160 meters should be fine still. Let's just turn on the grid lines again. So our trunk route will be going up more or less along this road here, since we want to reach the steel mill up there. But of course we have to make it as smooth as possible. Let's just see, what about... As long as we meet the station, it's fine. We could even build an extra piece of road here. Like that, so we don't have to pay too much for landscaping. Then, let's see, this doesn't have to be a big road, since it won't actually be carrying any traffic there. And that should be connected. Let's just make sure before we get into trouble there. And of course, it's a passenger station. Good grief. Can I just change it via the upgrade? No, I can't, unfortunately. Or no, it's just a through station or a terminal station. Oh well, first mistake of the mission. Let's hope it's the last. Goods, please. There we go. Same thing, I think, and we'll leave it with the catenary, since I think electric trains will be quite important in this mission. There we go. Now it's finished. At last, we have something on the map. Now, in this case, Yes, I think we can just put the passenger station here so long for the route that I want to create to the other cities. Now, unfortunately, as usual, that means demolishing some of these buildings. And we don't have curved stations in the campaign, unfortunately, so I can't really fit it in here nicely. I guess we're just going to have to demolish 2 buildings. That's the best I can do. There we go. At least that covers the whole of the center of town, and hopefully the AI will expand it in a way that still touches the station there. So now that we know, we obviously have to meet those 2 tracks somewhere, but let's just see, where are we aiming for? I think I'll just take it from the passenger one. Unfortunately, the terrain is very uneven here. I think that will do. 120. We want to keep the speed up as much as possible. Landscaping is quite inevitable, I'm afraid. There, good. At least it will also be a bit of a scenic route, I think. So a little added bonus. Now, what about this one? Since we're having the... what is this anyway? This is a food storage, so this will be important later in the mission. So I think we need to connect this anyway. And since it's a food storage, we can just put a cargo stop here. So let's just rotate this thing, and this will definitely have to be two tracks. And as long as it covers it, it's fine. I'm just wondering if we can cross that road without trouble. Maybe if I put it a bit further back. Okay, now just connect this. So I'll say that's the outer line. Speed is a problem. Okay, let's just see if I can make that work. No issue, good. And I don't want strange dips on the track. There is a little bit of a bump there, but it's not terrible, so I think we can live with that. Might run into trouble here. No, good. That was from the patch where they obviously made it easier to fit things in together. Okay, so let's carry on, and I'll just keep going with the outer line, or from our perspective, the inner line. You can just go past that, and then we have to swerve, and I think the best place to put the station is right on the other side of the road. This will definitely have to be a double track, and again a cargo station. Like that. Okay, good. We're getting somewhere. Now, it's interesting how it follows the road here. It's interesting. I never really do that, but it actually looks quite nice. But for this, I think the straight line is the best. So let's just make sure this is the correct one. Yes, and again, I want to make sure it's not looking too terrible. That doesn't look good at all. Unfortunately, the only solution is then to connect to the road and then continue on from there, but it's not really cooperating, so I might have to demolish this part of the road network. But that's never a big deal, so there we go. Then of course we can make the whole thing look a bit better. So next part of the track. Luckily we were given quite a bit of money, and we don't have a requirement that we are not allowed to take out any of the extra funds that we can get. Of course we still have to make millions to get the one medal, but I can say that will never happen. Most likely not, but who knows, maybe. So let's see, how do I say this again? Jönköping. It has quite a big commercial district. One track will be enough for this one, and I think if we're lucky we can just fit it in here. It's not going to cover the whole thing, but the heart of the town is going to be covered, and that's what's important. I might just remove this piece of road here, it's really in the way. Then let's get back to the station, passenger station this time. Unable to align terrain. There I can get it. No, I could get it like this, but that's going to destroy housing. Perhaps like that. Let's just see if I can move it on. No, as soon as I go too far it's unable to align the terrain. Oh well, that will do. got some very interesting landscaping here, but anyway, so the people are playing in this yard. If there's any children here, they better not fall over, they'll fall quite far. Safety hazard there. Then of course we have to meet the iron mine here. That will definitely have to be a double cargo stop. And let's see now, how am I going to do this? Going to have to put an extra piece of road in here. I think demolishing this one is the first step. It should definitely cover it from that side, and we could even add a second street connection. Why not? Let's see if we can do it like that. I'm never going to take this stuff by road, so I wonder if the computer will consider this to be connected to the network. No, this... what is this one? Interesting. Malmö and... how do I say this again? Göteborg. They're not connected. In any case, doesn't matter. So, let's see. Next step is connecting the track up to the iron and then up to this one. So, this one will probably need a tunnel. There's quite a bit of a hill in the middle here. But that will give us a bit of an extra feature on the map. Unfortunately, this road is in the way again. Can I just make a straight connection? No, it's going to have to be more demolishing. Oh well, to prepare for the war effort we need to make some sacrifices. Now I just have to make sure which platform I'm connecting to. I want the one on the left there. Now we have a bridge here again, not a tunnel. Last time I played this I had a tunnel. Anyway, let's see, this is going to be quite expensive. I don't know if this is worth it. I don't think it is. We should probably try and avoid that as much as possible. There we go, now we're getting the tunnel. Just say yes. And we have the one on the left there, so this is the outer one. Good, now that works, and I think the speed is fine. Yes, it's dropping a little bit, but not under 100. So I think as long as we keep it over 100, we're fine. Good, so next step is, since the iron is going down that way, the passenger network I want to connect both going that way and going to the coast there. So this is going to have to split off somehow. Actually, it might be easier to just continue this route and then start worrying about the actual connections. So this will be a passenger terminal station with one platform, and it must cover as much of the commercial district as possible. I actually rarely use the second street connection, but this time I think I'm going to leave it on. Can we do it without demolishing half of the area that we want to reach? Yes, that one will just demolish one building. It doesn't cover this part, but that shouldn't be a problem. That's still... oh, come on, really? Can I reach this with a piece of road? No, demolish the thing. At least we got rid of that building. There we go. So yes, at least it will still give us access to most of the demand there. It's not a problem. So from here, I'll leave the second connection there as it is. The AI can decide what to do with it. And I'll just connect again here on the right hand side, just going straight through. It's a lot of earthworks unfortunately, but the speed is important. And then we'll take this one and just connect it all the way through, and then of course just join it near to the station. Let's say there. Keep that speed up. Good, now get a signal in here, I think, just preemptively. So which one would it be? I think it would definitely be on this side like that, and as long as there's room for the train going back, we're okay. Of course we'll need a lot of signals on this whole rail system, but we can take care of that after the connections are made. We only have 8 million left. That is a bit depressing, I have to say. Oh well. Let's see, how can I do this now? I need the contours again. I think I want to connect before we reach the tunnel, otherwise we're going to need another tunnel. So this part of the track is not going to be super fast, but that's not too much of a problem. Let's get rid of that, and now we have to connect. So let's see if I do that. 95, 88, not terrible. Since this is quite a short bit of track, it shouldn't be an issue. Then we can in any case make a crossing right there, and that should give us access going back as well. Good. I think, should we have a double here? I think at the moment we don't need a double track on this part of the line. Then we just of course have to continue this. Let's see, to split off there and reach before the tunnel. Yes, this one will drop in speed a little bit. And I'm thinking now I should actually do this before the tunnel because we still need a crossing here. 47, that's not a good speed. Could we do better? 68, but that's going to leave a sharp turn now. Oh well. 58, yes, that's not too terrible. The thing is, we just want them off of this main piece of track as quickly as possible, otherwise they're going to hamper the food delivery. And then this one should be as long as possible so we can just have a good speed again. Yes, I think that looks fine. So we have the main connections in place apart from the coal at the moment. So what would be, and of course the port. The port is the other one that's not in place yet, and the rest of the doubling. Good grief, there's actually a lot to do in this mission before we actually get started. Okay, so let's just take care of all of this. I'm wondering if we'll see anything move in this episode. I'm getting my doubts. This is just the episode of setting everything up. Just move a bit closer and then cross over. 88 is not terrible. And now with this one, as long as we can reach the side here with a decent speed. Should we even cross it? No, we need to have a good connection on this side first, and then we cross it. Okay, where's the connection? Right there. So make it as long as possible again, and there we go. So now that's at least connected. Next thing is of course the coal. Now where could we join that? It would probably be easier to just do it on this side of this peninsula here, but on the one hand there is already a piece of track here that we could just continue, but I think this one is already going to take too much traffic, so it should be on this side. Just before this station here, and I'm really not liking this bump. This wouldn't happen in real life. Let's delete it. A train can't climb up such a steep bump. That's much better. Good. There's still a bit of a, well, not so much. No, it's a bit of an incline, but it hasn't got that weird shape anymore. So this one can again be just an end station, a terminal station, of course, with a cargo and no second street connection, since that will simply be unnecessary here. And just like that, we don't need extra road for that. And I think for now, again, the single track will be fine, but I have a very strong suspicion we'll need to double this as soon as possible. We won't need to stop here, so we could actually continue it on this side of the station. What happens if I continue? Yes, that's fine, I like that. And then of course we'll need our normal crossing again. Good, so at least the basic infrastructure is in place, and it took the better part of our money. Now there's of course the whole construction materials thing. I'm wondering if we shouldn't just get the food moving first. I think we should, because having an income is very important right now. Also, the other thing is we're going to need a depot somewhere that's going to be able to reach all of these places. Where could we do that? We might need two of them, in fact. I think one of them could be here near Malmö, and that can be sort of our main industrial one. So let's see if we can fit it in here without looking too terrible. Actually right next to the station, why not? I always think of it as, you know, further job creation, so the people of this city can be happy because we're giving them more opportunities to, you know, get their engineers and all of that to work. And I think that's it. My alarm is already telling me it's half an hour, but I think as long as we can get our first line set up, we're going to be okay, because we still need to just get something happening in this episode other than getting the infrastructure in place. So this one will need to do the following. Let's see, we need the coal delivered to the steel mill, and then of course I need to double this route here, so that means just splitting it off on this side. Is that what I want though? I think so. Yes, it is. Okay, now I need a signal here as well. That's it. So of course having them run double is better, because that means we can fit more traffic here. Then we'll also need a signal right before the crossing to tell anyone else to stop there. And is that it? I think we might as well have one on the other side too, just so we can space everything out. Good, that's taking care of that. Now, unfortunately, we're going to need many trains for this mission, because this is just one route, and we can't really have them dual use the train for two things, you know, dual use purposes, because then we have to send it for the iron and back to the station and back for the coal and back, and you know, it's far too long. So that's line 1. Next thing is going to be line 2. Now this is a short line, so this train is not going to be so expensive or so long, because we don't need as many carriages or even as powerful a locomotive, so we're going to have to keep that in mind. Now I want this thing to split off again, so what I need is another signal. Good, and does it work? No, there is another problem here. Now how am I going to solve this thing? We're going to need a signal right before here, so the train that's coming from Jönköping to just join here. Should we have one here as well? I think so. Then of course that's the problem, we don't have another crossing here. So which side do I want it to go? It's supposed to come up on the right hand side and then go back to the left. And then just of course the usual. It's still giving this problem here. I think what I might do in this case is just give it a waypoint again. So which one is this now? I should rename these stops. The transfer is first, and then we add the waypoint, and that should do. Yes, let's just make sure it hasn't done anything weird here now. No, it's fine. And I should also name this. So at least we've got that now. And the next thing of course is the train that will deliver the steel to the port. Now it is tempting to use the same train that we use for the coal, but then again there's not going to be as much space on the train, so we're going to have another train for this. So this is where we're going to spend a lot of money very quickly. And this is going to be steel to food, I think. Maybe even we could do that, but do we need separate wagons for that? I think we do. Because my thinking was, now if we pick up the steel here and drop it off at the port, then we might as well take food back and drop it off there and then distribute it from there to the towns. But now of course we'll need to then split the train into 50% steel and 50% food, because they don't use the same wagons. So that's a problem. So that means we'll need another train to do that. This is getting complex quickly. Let's just have a look at our options for the trains. Not really any electrics at the moment, but that will happen. So what is relatively cheap here? Definitely don't want this one, I think. This one has half the running costs. and it still has a decent speed, just 10 kilometers an hour shorter. This is 60, that's too slow, I think. So the option is the class 75.4, that's it. We're just gonna have to go with that. Oh, this money is a problem. They're gonna start complaining soon. Oh well. I think that's another option, is to get the passenger service running so long, because then we can make money from that before the steel thing. But then again, we have a very short deadline. So this is the thing with the steel. It uses the steak car, but the food uses the Verbandswagen here. So that's obviously why with sharing the train is going to mean less delivery. Anyway, I think we should start with the coal and the iron. We can't do anything unless we have that. So for the iron one, it's going to be relatively short. So I think even this is enough just to get it started. So just click iron, and then another one, of course, for the coal. That one will have to be much longer because the deliveries will be slower. Oh dear, they're gonna start complaining now.
The money is slipping through our fingers. We'll soon be bankrupt. But if we're prepared to grovel on our hands and knees, our financiers will grant us a bridge loan.
I'm groveling big time. So 36 million is not bad. You can again look at this as a return on our investment from our Scottish venture. So why not? We'll take it. It's actually 3.6. I was hoping it was 36 million. You could see there it's a Freudian slip. Oh dear, it's not as much as I was hoping. Okay, I think let's add one more to this and just stop there. We still need enough to get the rest of it going. We can of course use a truck to get the food to Malmö here, so that will at least close that loop, which is at least what we need. So this one is our line 1, I think I never named that one. And then we'll need another one for the steel. Oh well, such is life. Everything costs money. Then we can always add more stake cars to it once the whole thing starts making profit. I think let's leave it off at 600,000 just for safety. This isn't a lot, but it's at least something. Then that's the steel line. Let's just make sure that steel line doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's definitely not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It is supposed to be splitting off here, otherwise they're going to be waiting for each other again. I think this is probably one of the missions with the longest setup. It is quite a business here just to get the whole thing running. Let's just put another signal set right here, and then of course this part of the track is now going to be shared, so we'll need many signals here. I'm actually going to over signal it, I think. Actually, you can't really over signal it, there isn't enough space. That will have to do. We can always put another one in the middle there if it's necessary. Then they do not use the same platform as the iron, so that will not cause a clash, and I think that will do for now. We might actually know. This is what we need to do just before we end this episode. Let's get a bus stop that will actually cover the whole of the commercial district. And it's interesting because the bus stop actually covers more of a town than a train station does. So if I just hold it here somewhere, you'll see it's actually covering, it's disappearing when I zoom out. But yes, you can anyway see it's covering a huge area of the town, whereas the train station, well, it also does. It just feels like sometimes you can do more with the bus stops than the train stations because they're so cheap. Anyway, so we can just put this down here at the center of town. We can use that for a local bus route as well. And then they'll just drop the food off here since it covers practically the whole of the commercial district. Now we just need one more piece of this puzzle, actually two more, because we're going to need a road vehicle depot as well. We might put this here since no one is going to be using this little road anyway. That's not so nice. Can we make it look not terrible? I suppose that's as good as we can do for now. Then a stop for the picking up of the food. This has to be a vehicle stop and a cargo one. A small one I think is fine because this will be just for the one town. We can actually fit it in here right by the water. Might want to put it on this side though, but that's going to lead to some real landscaping issues. No, we'll put it here. Some prime real estate right on the coastline. Good, so that covers the station as well. Then let's set up this route quickly, and this will be right from there to there. Not the most exciting route in history. And for now I'll just put one single solitary truck on this because it's not working yet. I just want the computer to recognize that there is a route happening. So this will be our Benz, of course, that's how we roll. And food, there we go. So I think that does it. This is at least our basic infrastructure. Let me think, am I missing something here? No, I think it's okay, but I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger here. I'm not going to start the clock yet, so for that you'll have to tune in to the next episode. Yes, it's a long setup, but I think this is going to make us money. A lot of it. At least I'm hoping so. At least I want that medal that is, what does it ask for again? I think it's 50 million or something. Anyway, we can worry about that later. Thank you for watching, and if you are living in the southern hemisphere, I hope you are enjoying the start of spring, and if you're living in the north, I hope you're enjoying the start of autumn or fall. So, see you next time, and thank you for watching.